Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video and the last question mark challenge for the 2020 Hungarian Grand Prix. Today we take on this challenge driving in the Ferrari as Charles Leclerc. This one being uploaded just after qualifying but before Sunday, but I'm doing the commentary actually before qualifying's even begun, so I don't know how it's gone down, but obviously now on the time of being uploaded, you guys know. So let me know what you thought of qualifying and give us the predictions for tomorrow's race on Sunday. Obviously with this challenge sometimes we can predict things, so maybe we can predict where Leclerc might come, the fastest lap driver, the podium. We'll have to see, and we'll see what sort of wizardry we can concoct here. But if you're unfamiliar with the last question mark challenge on this channel, then we do a 25% race, short and sweet, so you have to really make the moves count. I will add a big caveat. Of course, I'm using the F1 2020 game, and in the game currently, the Ferrari is a lot quicker than it is in real life, especially in a straight line, but also the aero as well. So we're probably going to do a little bit better than maybe Leclerc will do around Hungary. Obviously, I don't know if he's going to start at the back or not. I hope I'm not jinxing him right now, but you know, I think we'll definitely be going through the cars a bit quicker than maybe the Ferrari would if it was to start at the back. But nevertheless, let's just get into this then. One-stop race, pretty simple, soft to medium tyres from the back, P20. The last question mark challenge here for the 2020 Hungarian Grand Prix is on the way as the lights are out, and it's an okay start for us, but then we kind of get a bit of bogged down in fourth gear, even though we use ERS. Pinned in by Magnussen there, very awkward, trying to move left, but Latifi boxed me off. Instead, we dive down the inside there, almost have a go at getting the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen, but being a little bit more measured than maybe Leclerc was at the Styrian Grand Prix in real life, not, you know, committing to the dive bomb and being a little bit cautious, not wanting to stick the nose in and get some air time and take out our teammate or someone else as we now go round the outside though. Very nice move that was on George Russell round the outside. Got Giovinazzi as well as a 2-for-1 deal, and now up the hill, very slow, very pedestrian-like as everyone is so bunched up. Lando Norris going round the outside. We're going to try and join him if we can. We get the rear end hooked up really well. Good traction off the corner, but then Raikkonen sends it back down the inside of Grosjean to re-overtake me, but also getting a place on the Haas. We tried to make it 3 wide. Doesn't work out there. Was never going to work. It's so tight with 2 cars side by side, let alone 3, but it's all still so close as we have to lift off and really brake check ourselves there, basically. But Raikkonen almost brake check us completely. We almost smashed the back of him there, so it's very hectic, and proving why, you know, if you don't want to start the back at Hungary, basically. Even if you're a top car, it's so hard to make a pass, and it's so just tightly packed, so we're really finding it quite difficult. We go down the inside of Grosjean here. We're going to scrub him off wide on the exit of the corner, get up into P15, but my word, we're only P15 on lap 2. That's actually pretty poor from our standards on the last question mark challenge. Usually I'm able to be quite aggressive, you know, maybe a little bit lucky here and there finding the room. This time we have not got lucky at all in terms of finding the space. We've been caught behind this fight between Raikkonen and Grosjean. To be fair though, Raikkonen's AI did a mazza of, you know, re-overtaking us and then dive bombing the car ahead of him, but we get him very easily then down the hill. That's more like it. Squeeze him out up into P14, and now we can get on the back of Pierre Gasly in the kind of top end of the midfield here as we set a personal best lap time, finding some good pace in that clean air to close up to Pierre. But can we go round the outside? He goes defensive, so he invited us a little bit there, but we go way too hot into that, a bit too ambitious, and a lock up on the front right allows Gasly to get that back, so a bit more of a fight than I'm wanting here. So I said, you know, that the Ferrari in game right now is definitely a lot better than the Ferrari is in real life, but at the moment actually finding a little bit of a struggle here to get past some of these cars. I'm having way too much confidence in the Ferrari than I really should maybe, but saying that, we make a beautiful little pass around the outside up the top of the hill. So there's, you know, there's little brief moments where I'm trying too much with this Ferrari car. Maybe I'm too used to the Mercedes I did this challenge with last week at the for the Styrian Grand Prix, but then in some instances it's very much what I would expect from the Ferrari at the moment in game, and as you can see, being able to really easily get Norris under braking there. Nice little dive, and we're up into P12, so making some good progress now in the GP. Plenty of ERS usage here. DRS open, Rich Mix, Kvyat squeeze us towards the wall there. Had a little bit of a PTSD moment from watching Barrichello v Schumacher back in 2010 for a moment, but Kvyat doesn't squeeze us nearly enough, but we get up into P11 with that, and we're right on the back of Lance Stroll, the first of the 2 Racing Point cars, using some ERS off the exit of that right-hander. Inspired decision there, as it's able to get us enough overspeed to shoot one to the inside and get up into P10. So only now are we in the points paying positions on lap number 6. So yeah, really compared to my previous standard, standards on this challenge. Definitely a little bit slower, but like I said, that's not really the car. That's more just the fact that I got quite unlucky on the opening lap. But obviously I didn't get nearly as unlucky as Leclerc did on lap 1 of the Styrian Grand Prix, so I'll take it. But here we are then, in for the pit stop. Bit of a delay there for some reason. The mechanics waited for it a bit and then also got held up here. So it's a 2.5, very slow pit stop. I don't think Vettel came in on this lap, so I don't know why they were quite hesitant to start working, but there was like that split second where the animation just didn't begin for the pit stop for some reason. So it's a slow pit stop, and we also get held up a little bit, but not nearly as bad as one of the Racing Point cars, because he lost out. Stroll lost out to Norris there. And in the end, it doesn't really matter because the undercut works an absolute treat. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. 2 free passes there, essentially, on Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz. So, don't need to worry about overtaking them. And potentially that Racing Point of Perez would have been maybe an issue for us to overtake, because it is pretty speedy in the game as well as in real life, as we clearly saw last week and we might see this weekend. But we're now closing up to Dan Ricciardo and Ocon in tandem here, P5. I'll put it at P5 and 6 because I believe we didn't see the message, but Verstappen has actually retired at this Grand Prix. He is out of this GP, so I hope for the sake of a good race I don't jinx that, and Verstappen is going to be remaining in the Hungarian GP. Although, to be fair, as I record this in FP3, that Red Bull does not look very great in Sector 2, which is quite surprising. But here we are then, back to our fight, back to our POV, and what we're doing in this race, fighting Ricciardo, bit skatish on the outside, made some contact there, but Ricciardo was really good at defending, but we eventually got it done, and now we're going to try a dive on Ocon into the chicane. We're going to try the switchback, but it doesn't work out because I get oversteer, but also Ocon, I thought he was going to, play himself and go so wide on the right of the circuit, but he tightened up his line so much so that the switchback just really didn't work out for us. Instead, having to fight again, but here, just like with the Racing Point car, look at that mega exit off that corner for sure. Definitely a place where the AI don't use ERS there, and so the player, just a little tip that I'm going to finding out as we go through this video, definitely use ERS through that corner. The AI definitely don't use it enough in there, so getting a good exit up into P5, and so pretty much now this is the max I think we can get as the clouds come down. It's a little bit overcast, much like it might be tomorrow around Sunday. This is the max we can maybe hope for in this Grand Prix, to be completely honest. But we make a massive mistake on the rear end there as we hit the curb, the sausage curb on the left, and the rear end steps out, and so the Ferrari got very unstable, actually as unstable as we might see in real life, really. So for a split second, the Ferrari decided it wanted to be as bad as it was in real life, and so we're back down to P10. It's a disastrous mistake for us, easily done in the Ferrari, I think, in real life, so maybe quite realistic, actually, in a way. And so now we're on lap 17, and we've got it all to do to try and catch back up. So, and again, losing the rear end in the same place there. You saw the kind of tyre marks, but I lost the rear end here on this same lap. Just didn't do it as badly as I did the previous one, so the rear end just gone. I don't know if it's the tyre wear, maybe the internal carcass temperature is now just a bit too hot after that kind of half spin and catch, but now we've got all the work to do to try and gain some last positions here. We're definitely not getting P5 in this Grand Prix. Norris locks up. We're going to try and get down the inside and use that lock up to advantage to get alongside. Tyres rubbing, sidewall to sidewall. Norris v Leclerc. It's the virtual GP or not the GP battle here, and Norris remains ahead. Can't make that work on the outside. Having to wait now till the DRS zone. Rich mix. DRS, overtake mode engaged. We don't have too much ERS, so you can see we're in single digits now for ERS, but can we make a bold dive to the inside? We're going to have to go for it. It's the last lap. Very close stuff on the left. We're still neck and neck. This has been a ding-dong battle between myself and Lando Norris. Could we see this in real life? Possibly, maybe. The McLaren and Ferrari might be on the same piece of tarmac in the race. It would be quite a tasty fight for sure if we saw it in real life. Of course, like I said, you kind of not the GP, virtual GP battles and banter between Norris and Leclerc was quite high, so it'd be quite cool to see that in real life. But up ahead, look at that. Perez tried to overtake Ocon. I think that is, yeah, it's Ocon, because I think Ricciardo is on the mediums and Ocon's on the hards. So Perez trying to overtake Ocon. These three have really slowed up, so we're right behind them. Can we gain one last position? Maybe not with that rear end as it steps out massively, as Lewis Hamilton wins this Hungarian Grand Prix. Wouldn't be surprising if that happened on Sunday, because I think Hamilton's won a total of 7 Hungarian Grand Prix. So if it was to win tomorrow, that would make 8, and I think that would equal Schumacher's record around the Hungaroring. As we now go down the inside of Sainz, it's the last overtake of the day. A nice one. Caught him napping there. Just really didn't turn into the corner really that much, Sainz, for some reason. And we're up into P8 then. So it won't be the P5, it'll be P8. Maybe more of a realistic finishing position for on the Ferrari cars in tomorrow's Grand Prix. But that is the last question mark challenge. A tough one today. You know, lap 1 was very tough, and then the mistake we made there with the rear end stepping out. Yeah, definitely a tougher one today. So in many ways, a bit more realistic. I was kind of worried that it was going to be quite easy for us because the Ferrari is actually that good in the F1 2020 game as it stands before any kind of patch to resolve it. But in the end, maybe a bit more realistic version of the challenge. So guys, if you did enjoy that, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like I said, let me know what you thought of qualifying and your predictions for tomorrow's Grand Prix. But till then, get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy the Grand Prix tomorrow. Goodbye.